Vaping. Everyone's doing it. Vape stores are popping up everywhere. It's a new trend. Must be safe, right? Wrong. According to an article written on October 30th, 2018 by the American Heart Association, they state that smoking is still the leading preventable cause of death and responsible for 480,000 American lives lost each year. This large figure includes smoking as well as vaping. Now, I'm sure that most of us have seen people in small groups vaping as if it's a social trend like alcohol. While this may be true, vaping has extraordinary health risks, just like traditional cigarettes. It makes these little electronic devices not as safe as what people think. There's many more health risks that big vaping corporations don't tell you about. After being around many people who have vaped in the past to get their fix of nicotine, I've decided to do my own research to find out why vapes are so popular and what's in that fruity and tasty juice that gets inhaled and exhaled. I'm going to first explain why vaping is so popular in teens and adults of all ages, and then explain why vapes are not a safe alternative to cigarettes. The main points I will discuss are nicotine, heart and lung issues associated with vapes, a safer and more effective alternative to smoking cigarettes or vaping. Now let's start with why vaping is so popular to smoking cigarettes. Vaping has seen a new trend in the last 5 years. The first reason why vaping is so popular is because of the looks of them. Linda Richer, who obtains a PhD and is a director of policy research and analysis, published an article in October of 18 that states, the newest and most popular vaping product is a Juul, which is a small, sleek device that resembles a computer USB flash drive. Its subtle makes it easy to hide, which helps explain why it has become so popular among middle and high school students. Richard explains how companies like Juul have made these vapes look small, attractive, and with colorful lights when they get inhaled. Now, these small, discreet vapes seem nice and innocent. Another reason why vapes are attractive because of the thousands of flavors you can get with them. Traditional cigarettes only come in about a handful of flavors. This wide variety attracts teens and adults of all ages to try all the possible combinations that are not possible with traditional cigarettes. AmHealth, a professional inpatient treatment center, wrote an article on August 21st, 2019, that displays the attractiveness of vapes because of the variety of e-liquid flavors when they state, many claim that vaping has grown in popularity among teens because of the many e-liquids and juices that come along with vaping devices. Take Juul for instance. The device has available flavors like mint, mango, cream, cucumber, fruit, and many more. Now, AmHealth describes how these fruity and sweet flavors attract teens and adults to vape. Now that you know why vapes are so attractive, let's discuss why they're not a safe alternative to traditional cigarettes. The first reason why they're not a safe alternative to traditional cigarettes is because of nicotine. Nicotine is a toxic, addictive chemical. It reprograms your brain in a sense that it needs it to survive. In addition to nicotine, it causes your brain to not be satisfied until nicotine is actually in your system. Vapes contain the same, if not more, nicotine than a traditional cigarette. This causes users to be as addicted, if not more addicted, to vaping when compared to cigarettes. The National Cancer Institute did a study on October 5th, 2018 on the levels of nicotine in a vape when compared to the levels in a traditional cigarette. They proved that the high levels of nicotine in vapes, when they state, in the study of adolescents who regularly use pod-style e-cigarettes, such as the brand Juul, researchers found that recent users had higher levels of nicotine in their bodies than had previously been found in adolescents who regularly smoked conventional cigarettes. Now, the National Cancer Institute displays how the levels of nicotine is higher in vapes, thus making them even more addictive than cigarettes. So why would someone who's trying to quit smoking cigarettes start something that has even more nicotine, making it even more addictive? Vaping does not help your addiction, it only makes it worse. Vaping is a form of smoking, so if you switch to vaping, you're still technically smoking and not quitting. You're just changing the type of smoking that you're doing. Along with the high levels of addictive nicotine, vapes also can cause many health problems. Although vapes may have less chemicals than cigarettes, vaping still can cause heart and lung issues. Vaping is so new that the FDA hasn't even come out with how bad they are for your body. Of the chemicals known in vapes, nicotine is the biggest and most dangerous. An article written earlier this year by Michael Blaha, a director of clinical research for the Corona Center for Prevention of Cardiovascular Disease and professor of medicine, describes the effects of nicotine on the body when he states, nicotine is also a toxic substance. It raises your blood pressure and spikes your adrenaline, which increases your heart rate and the likelihood of having a heart attack. Now, Blaha displays how through the use of vapes, one can be susceptible to a heart attack. Another common chemical in e-juice is dilactol. Dilactol is a chemical that can cause bronchiolitis obliterans. On July 7, 2016, the editorial staff at the American Heart and Lung Association wrote an article about the effects of dilac on the lungs that they state that when inhaled, dilactol causes bronchiolitis obliterans, more commonly referred to as popcorn lung, a scarring of tiny air sacs in the lungs resulting in the thickening and narrowing of the airways. While the name popcorn lung may not sound like a threat, it is a serious lung disease that can cause wheezing, coughing, and a shortness of breath, similar to the symptoms of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD. The editorial staff explained how the results of dilac can leave you with heavily damaged lungs. Now that you know how vaping can affect your heart and lungs, let's discuss a much safer way to quit smoking traditional cigarettes. Many alternatives exist than to vape to help quit smoking. These alternatives are not so common because they are overlooked by big e-cig companies that are trying to just push out mass amounts of advertisement. Now, one alternative to vaping is through the use of nicotine replacement therapy, or NRT. Hannah Nicholas, a freelance writer with experience writing medical and health content, describes the effects of nicotine replacement therapy in an article that she wrote on September 18, 2017, when she states, NRT can reduce the cravings and withdrawal symptoms you experience that may hinder your attempt to give up smoking. NRTs are designed to wean your body off of cigarettes and supply you with a controlled dose of nicotine while sparing you from exposure to other chemicals found in tobacco. Now, she goes on to state that the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, has approved 5 types of NRT: skin patches, chewing gum, lozenges, nasal spray, which you can only get in a prescription, and also an inhaler you can only get in a prescription. Now, Nicholas has described how many other options that are available to truly quit smoking than that of vaping. Now that you know how vaping is not a safe alternative to smoking cigarettes, let's go over what I've displayed to you today. So today, I've just explained to you how vaping has gotten to be so popular, the effects of high nicotine levels in vapes, heart and lung issues that vapes can cause, and a less harmful alternative to smoking cigarettes. So next time you catch a friend or loved one vaping, remember what I've discussed today. I've explained how vaping is not the answer to their smoking habit, and how vaping does not help the situation, only makes it worse. Being addicted to vaping is no better than being addicted to cigarettes. Remember that there are better alternatives to smoking cigarettes and vaping, like through the use of nicotine replacement therapy. In the end, would you want to see someone who you care so much about get seriously hurt or even killed by something that they were trying to do to cut a bad habit when you knew that what they were doing would only hurt them more?